On the morning of October 12, 2004, the sun rose over the quiet town of Kawashi, nestled in the far reaches of northern Japan. It was the kind of place where everyone knew each other, where crime meant a misplaced wallet, and where silence ruled the streets. That morning, however, something unholy disturbed the stillness. At precisely 7:42 a.m., a phone call was made to the local police station. The voice on the other end was whispery, almost trembling. "There's blood in the school." Officers arrived at Kawashi Middle School within minutes. What they found behind the closed door of classroom 3B would haunt them forever. Blood smeared on the floor, a body twisted unnaturally, and a message scrawled in kanji on the chalkboard: "Forgive me, for I am the mirror." The victim was 13-year-old Tomoko Saito, a quiet, straight-A student, described by teachers as gentle as cherry blossoms in spring. Tomoko's deskmate, Aya Hirano, was nowhere to be found. Her books were untouched, her backpack still hanging on her chair. Police issued a missing persons alert by noon. But what puzzled everyone was the surveillance footage. At exactly 6:28 a.m., the cameras caught Aya entering the building alone. She never left. News of the murder exploded across Japan. But just as quickly, it vanished. Major networks aired the story for a day, then fell silent. Articles were pulled. Online forums speculated about government suppression. Parents pulled their children out of school. But no one could explain why such a brutal killing in a school had become taboo overnight. 10 days later, a groundskeeper found a waterlogged notebook buried under the flower bed behind the school gym. It was Aya's. The last entry read, "He comes in the mirror now. He wears my brother's face. No one believes me." Aya's brother had died by suicide the previous year. His death, we now know, was the first thread in a much darker tapestry. An anonymous whistleblower from the Aomori Prefectural Police leaked internal memos suggesting the case had been deliberately shut down by Tokyo officials. The reason? Connections to a secret psychological study on mirror trauma, funded by a defense contractor with ties to the Japanese Ministry of Internal Affairs. As the investigation progressed, whispers grew about the man in the mirror, a psychological entity allegedly hallucinated by victims of childhood trauma. But was it merely a shared delusion, or something more sinister? Experts from the University of Tokyo who examined Aya's journal claimed it bore eerie similarities to case studies from a defunct 1989 experiment known as Project Tsukuyomi. Project Tsukuyomi was a top-secret psychological warfare program. Declassified fragments showed the government had tested mirror exposure on children to assess its effect on dissociative identity formation. Most records were destroyed after a scandal in 1992. But some subjects, like Aya's brother, were never released. Interviews with retired staff revealed something disturbing. The teachers at Kawashi Middle had signed NDAs just weeks before the murder. One janitor, under condition of anonymity, recalled seeing a dark-suited man in the principal's office the night before Tomoko's death. He told them this was all theoretical, that no one would get hurt. Detective Hiroshi Takeda, who initially led the investigation, disappeared 2 months into the case. Officially, he was transferred. Unofficially, he was last seen boarding a ferry to Hokkaido, alone, shaken, and carrying a sealed envelope marked, "To be opened only if I vanish." Years later, Takeda's envelope surfaced in the possession of his estranged daughter. Inside were faded photographs, names of children marked with red stamps, and a single VHS tape labeled "Number 17 Fail." What was on that tape would send chills down the spine of every investigator who dared to watch. The tape showed a group of children in a sterile room with mirrors on all 4 walls. A man behind a one-way glass instructed them to repeat their names. As the minutes passed, the children began screaming, some covering their faces. One boy whispered, "I'm not alone in here anymore." The video ended with static, then a distorted reflection of the cameraman with no one behind the lens. A psychiatric nurse, now retired, came forward claiming to have treated Aya's brother. He mentioned repeated nightmares, violent outbursts triggered by mirrors, and one unforgettable line: "They made me kill the part of myself that could scream." Families of the children involved in Project Tsukuyomi began to gather anonymously. Many had lost children to suicide, unexplained illness, or institutionalization. They called themselves the Reflected, and they wanted justice. But each attempt to speak publicly ended in sudden disappearances or retractions. Investigators tracked down the rumored facility, now abandoned in rural Ibaraki Prefecture. In the basement, they found a shattered mirror room, etched into the walls, barely visible beneath layers of grime. Do not look too long. A journalist named Naoko Endo published a piece titled Children of the Glass, outlining all known details. Within 48 hours, the website was taken down, her sources went missing, and she herself was found unconscious in her Tokyo apartment. Her final note? There is no reflection without a cost. Across Japan, a pattern emerged. Murders, disappearances, and suicides all sharing an eerie similarity. Broken mirrors, scrawled messages, and a single kanji character, kage, meaning shadow. Police denied any connection, but independent forums began to compile the cases, and the numbers were chilling. Only one subject from Project Tsukuyomi was ever confirmed to have reintegrated into society, known only as Subject 12. He was adopted by a diplomat and moved to London. Now a painter, his work reveals haunting imagery. Children screaming in mirrored rooms, faces melting into reflections, eyes watching from the glass. A local historian uncovered an ancient shrine on the outskirts of Kawashi, long abandoned. Its purpose? Rituals to seal the reflection demon. Inside lay murals depicting children confronting their own shadows. The implication? The roots of this horror may have stretched back centuries. In 2015, the former principal of Kawashi Middle broke his silence. On his deathbed, he recorded a confession. I was promised funding, security, protection. They said it was for the future. But when Tomoko died, I knew I had delivered them into a curse. The mirror sees what we bury. A CCTV clip from a Tokyo subway showed a man calmly walking through the turnstiles. But in the glass pane behind him, no reflection. Within hours, the video was removed from all platforms. Eyewitnesses said he stared at his own hands, mumbling, I left my soul in Aomori. A mysterious hard drive mailed to a true crime podcaster revealed an encrypted database. Transcripts, therapy session notes, mirror exposure logs. One file was simply titled, unsignal.wave. The audio, a girl breathing, whispering, I found the other side. It's looking back. A task force originally created to investigate the Kawashi murder was shut down quietly in 2006. All members were reassigned. One resigned immediately and later told a journalist, the deeper we looked, the more it looked back. In 2019, an eerily similar case erupted in Osaka. A student murdered, a classmate vanished, and a shattered mirror found in the school bathroom. Authorities denied any connection, but independent sleuths called it a spiritual replica of Kawashi. In 2021, Aya Hirano's face appeared in a reflection caught by a tourist's photograph taken in Kawashi. Her body was never found, but the image, verified by experts, shows her unmistakable school uniform. Behind her, a black figure looms. Every case tied to the mirror phenomenon ends the same way. Silence. Witnesses retract, files vanish, and families disappear. But survivors, few as they are, say the same final words. Don't look into the dark glass. It already knows you. A name emerged from the classified Project Tsukuyomi files. Dr. Ichiro Mori, a psychological warfare expert who specialized in trauma-induced identity fragmentation. He vanished in 1993 after testifying before a closed committee. Rumor had it he continued his experiments privately, with government knowledge. North of Kawashi lies Lake Hanamura, rumored to be cursed. Local children say mirrors tossed into its depths cause ghostly figures to appear at night. Divers investigating anomalies in 2022 found dozens of hand mirrors weighted down with rope. On one, etched beneath the grime, she waits below. Documents from a retired defense contractor referenced as Subject 0, the control variable for Tsukuyomi, never named, but described as pure reflection. no self. Attempts to locate records of this child were stonewalled. One blurry photo showed a child with entirely black eyes staring into a mirror, smiling. More pages from Aya's journal surfaced in a university archive, misfiled under urban legends. These shadow letters were written backward, only readable in a mirror. One reads, "He walks in me now. When I speak, it's his voice. Tell Tomoko I'm sorry." Subject 12 was tracked down in London. Under hypnosis, he recalled the mirror room in chilling detail. "They told us if we could survive ourselves, we'd be free." He screamed before waking, "She's still in there. She never got out." In 2023, police quietly reopened 3 cold cases from the early 2000s. Each involved children, shattered mirrors, and the word, "written at the scene." Internal emails leaked to activists show investigators were ordered to destroy the files. They refused. A former antiques dealer confessed to acquiring over 200 mirrors used in research projects during the 90s. He sold them globally, unaware of their origins. "They all had the same feel, like something staring back," he said before being found dead in his shop. Cause: massive blood loss from mirror shards. Journalist Naoko Endo, thought to be comatose, awoke suddenly in a hospital. Her first words, "It followed me here." Despite no memory of the incident, she demanded a mirror be removed from her room. "It knows I remember," she whispered. A pirate radio transmission aired briefly in Tokyo. A girl's voice recited names, over 80 of them, believed to be test subjects. The signal cut mid-sentence, but not before the last name, Aya Hirano. The source of the broadcast was never found. A 16th century manuscript uncovered in Kyoto described the mirror demon, summoned through intense self-reflection. The texts claimed mirrors trap fragments of the soul, which over time can become autonomous. The passage ends ominously. "When the glass darkens, it is no longer yours." Ms. Aki Kobayashi, the last surviving teacher from Kawashi Middle's 2004 staff, broke her NDA in a live stream. "We were told they'd be safe, that it was therapy. But I saw Tomoko's eyes before she died. She saw something none of us could." The stream abruptly ended, and her apartment was found empty the next day. A whistleblower from a biotech firm revealed a current program called neuroreflective exposure therapy, nearly identical to Tsukuyomi. The firm receives funding from a defense initiative called J-Glass. Their goal? Weaponized empathy. An audio engineer analyzing I_final.wave uncovered hidden spectrogram layers, images of classroom desks, the symbol for shadow, and a handprint. Slowed down, her voice says, "You look too long. Now you're part of it." A growing online cult called the Reflected Ones began live-streaming mirror rituals, claiming to speak with Aya. Police investigated after 2 members were found dead, faces torn open, mirror shards lodged in their hands. Their last post, "She's almost through." The shrine outside Kawashi was vandalized. Its main mural defaced, protective mirror seals shattered. Locals reported hearing children's laughter at night. One elderly woman claimed, "She's free now, and she's angry." In a rare confrontation, an investigative journalist questioned Japan's prime minister about Kawashi. He paused, visibly shaken, then said, "We must never reflect on the past too deeply." His press secretary cut the feed seconds later. Subject 12, now an acclaimed painter, unveiled a massive mural titled "Exit Through the Mirror." It depicted Aya stepping out of a shattered glass wall, holding a bloodied school bag. On the canvas's corner, "One must be broken for the rest to heal." Surveillance from a Tokyo bookstore captured a teenage girl matching Aya's description browsing the psychology section. She vanished when approached, but her fingerprints were found on the books. DNA confirmed a match. She hadn't aged a day. Authorities found a hidden basement in an old research hospital with a 2-way mirror installation. On the far side was a sealed room. When opened, they found a single desk, a journal, and a phrase scratched into the glass. "It's not the reflection, it's what it becomes." Similar mirror-related incidents surfaced in Korea, Taiwan, and Germany. All referenced Project Yami, believed to be Tsukuyomi's global successor. Aya's face appeared in reflection photos across 3 continents. A cassette labeled I_last was found in an abandoned Kawashi locker. Her voice, older, calmer. I was never the monster. They made me into one. But I remember who I am now. Tell the world what they did. Before it reflects them, too. A hacker collective known as MirrorNet released 1.3 terabytes of Project Tsukuyomi documents. The files confirm military involvement, child experimentation, and psychic exposure theories. Public outrage ignited protests and demands for accountability. A group of monks performed a sealing ritual at the desecrated shrine. As they chanted, one mirror cracked violently. A scream, half girl, half other, echoed through the forest. Then silence. No phenomena have been reported since. In 2025, Japan held a tribunal for officials tied to Tsukuyomi. Survivors testified. Aya Hirano, in a closed session, was confirmed alive. Her final statement: "They tried to bury me in reflection, but I stepped through, and I saw the truth." A forgotten wing of the Saitama Psychiatric Institute was rediscovered during a renovation. Inside, 12 beds, each with iron restraints, and a full wall of mirrors. All patient files were blank, except one, marked Age. Staff reported dreams of being watched from the inside after entering the room. DNA analysis from the leaked files revealed Aya Hirano had a twin, Akari. She died in infancy, or so the records claimed. But surveillance footage from a shrine in Iwate showed a girl resembling Aya, but left-handed, whispering to her reflection. Locals called her the Other One. A retired U.S. intelligence officer revealed Operation Looking Glass, a Cold War-era joint Japan-U.S. project predating Tsukuyomi. It involved synchronized mirror sessions between children across continents, attempting psychic linkage. Aya was one of the last participants. A scientist involved in Tsukuyomi described an experiment involving a mirror placed inside another mirror box, creating infinite reflections. One subject screamed upon looking inside, insisting someone in the 10th reflection moved independently. The footage has never been released. A woman claiming to be Aya's biological mother contacted a Tokyo newspaper. She had no knowledge of giving birth to twins, but remembered her hospital room had a full-length mirror facing her bed. She said a nurse once warned her, "Don't look too long, or they'll trade places." 3 siblings from Osaka vanished in 1999 after their family reported mirrors in the home cracking for no reason. A neighbor later saw the children in a window, motionless, as if watching someone, or something, from inside the glass. A physicist studying Tsukuyomi concluded that mirrors may not reflect reality, but possibilities. He proposed that intense psychological focus could breach those boundaries. His TED-style lecture was pulled offline within 48 hours. His apartment was found emptied, with every mirror intact but covered. Tourists at a Kyoto hostel reported seeing a black-eyed girl in the mirror late at night. When she smiled, their reflections didn't move. Several guests checked out early. The hostel owner was found unconscious in front of a broken bathroom mirror, whispering, "She's learning to cross." A digital artist studying mirror latency captured footage showing slight delays in his own reflection. When he slowed the footage to 1/10,000 speed, he observed one frame where the reflection blinked after he did. Experts dismissed it. Then the artist disappeared. A prominent Tokyo psychologist admitted treating former Tsukuyomi subjects with identity echoes. They reported waking up as slightly different versions of themselves. One patient wrote, "Every time I look in the mirror, I feel someone else remember being me." An anonymous construction worker posted blueprints revealing a hidden chamber beneath the Kawashi school. The room isn't on any official map. It contains a single mirror and an inscription. "Here is where they left her to multiply." An AI researcher developing facial recognition software found the same face, Aya's, appearing across unrelated CCTV archives. In 57 instances across 12 years, she looked the same age. And in one video, she stared directly into the camera and smiled. A collector acquired a mirror from the original Tsukuyomi lab that shows no reflection. Instead, viewers report seeing a dark corridor behind them, filled with whispers. Attempts to destroy it failed. It shattered once, but reformed overnight. In Hokkaido, a 6-year-old boy began drawing the same girl every day, always with black eyes and standing in front of a mirror. When asked who she was, he replied, "She's my sister in the glass. She teaches me secrets." His parents never allowed mirrors in the house. A researcher inspecting Tsukuyomi's primary observation mirror found an anomaly, an internal lens embedded behind the glass. It recorded even when disconnected. The footage showed scenes not from the lab, but from observers' childhood memories. Leaked transcripts from a final classified interview with Aya revealed her describing a door in the mirror that only opens when someone is forgotten. She said, "You don't kill them, you reflect them away." An underground gallery in Osaka displayed Tsukuyomi artifacts, including cracked mirrors, torn uniforms, and sound recordings. Attendees began reporting shared dreams, always ending in a mirrored hallway with Aya walking toward them. A 2025 report from a South Korean agency intercepted footage of a girl believed to be Subject 00. Still a child, unchanged. She was standing in front of a department store mirror, smiling. When security approached, she was gone, but her handprint remained. Japan passed the Reflection Regulation Act, banning all state-funded psychological experiments involving mirrors. A clause within the bill acknowledges loss of personhood due to mirror-based stimuli. The clause was later redacted with no explanation. In a surprise appearance at a UN symposium on unethical research, Aya took the stage. "We were children," she said, "but they made us reflections of fear. I am not the ghost. I am the mirror you all created." Her image went viral and the world finally listened. To this day, mirrors are no longer permitted in certain Japanese government buildings. And still, some say that late at night, if you stare too long, you might not be the one who blinks. A commuter snapped a photo of a crowded Tokyo train window during rush hour. In the reflection stood a young girl no one remembered seeing on the platform. Analysis revealed she bore an uncanny resemblance to Aya, except her reflection wasn't mirrored. She waved, but no one inside the train saw her. An elderly architect anonymously sent blueprints of a building never constructed, but oddly familiar to residents in Nagoya. The structure was circular, mirrored inside and out, and contained no doors. One note was scrawled in the margin. It was meant to trap her forever. Footage from a temple in Nara showed visitors casting shadows in the opposite direction of the sunlight. The phenomenon only occurred near a centuries-old mirror. Locals now avoid the temple near dusk, claiming that if your shadow turns, something else turns with it. A teacher's old yearbook from 1996 showed a girl named Aya Hirano listed every year through 2025, unchanged in appearance. When questioned, school officials insisted she was part of a drama club tradition, but students remembered her always being quiet and never participating. In a rural village in Shikoku, all mirrors were banned following a 2003 incident where 6 residents disappeared during a festival. The only common factor: they'd all visited a house with an antique mirror. When searched, the house was empty, but the mirror was warm to the touch. A reporter investigating Tsukuyomi-related phenomena vanished after posting a video. In the footage, her reflection begins moving seconds before she does. In her final frame, she says, "It's not behind me, it's inside." Her body was never found. A composer began writing a piece inspired by dreams of a girl in a mirror. Each night, she'd hum a tune that compelled him to transcribe it. When the final note was added, his studio mirrors shattered. The composition ends abruptly, on a chilling minor chord. A sound engineer analyzing old Tsukuyomi recordings isolated background audio in an empty room. The spectrogram revealed a waveform spelling, "I remember." The engineer refused to publish his findings, claiming he could hear someone breathing behind him, only when the file played. In Okinawa, a tourist captured drone footage of an abandoned house. In one frame, a girl appears at the top window. When zoomed in, the room behind her is filled with mirrors, but they all reflect different scenes. None matched the weather or time of day. An archivist restoring degraded Tsukuyomi documents found notes scribbled in the margins. "She watches from the other side." Later, He discovered those words printed on the inside of his apartment mirror. No ink. Several Tsukuyomi survivors described a classroom with desks arranged in a circle, where lessons were taught by reflections. No record of the room exists, but a child's drawing from 1998 matches the survivors' descriptions exactly. A young girl's family noticed that while she cried, her reflection never did. When tested with photos, the discrepancy was clear. A local priest suggested an old superstition. If your sorrow is stolen by the mirror, it will learn how to make others weep. A surveillance camera at a tech firm captured a man entering a mirrored hallway and never exiting. The feed loops after frame 333, but analysts found slight variations in each loop, as if he's reacting differently, trapped in a sequence of reflection-based decisions. Blueprints discovered beneath the Tokyo Metropolitan Building revealed an undocumented sublevel containing 6 mirrored walls and a central observation seat. Records list it as Emergency Containment Area, TS0. The sublevel has since been sealed. An antique shop owner reported a mirror that would vibrate faintly when touched. Scientists found no mechanical components, but the surface showed consistent microrhythmic movements, as if mimicking a heartbeat. It stopped pulsing after someone whispered Aya's name. A family in Kobe found an old painted portrait of a girl labeled AH, with glass covering the canvas. When viewed from different angles, the girl's eyes appeared to follow. Removing the glass showed the eyes had no pigment, yet continued to move. During a rare atmospheric event, several witnesses reported seeing letters form in the clouds above Kyoto. One captured a photo showing AYA reflected across a lake. Meteorologists claimed it was a coincidence, but the lake's water remained rippled for 3 days. A manuscript titled The Reflected Ones appeared in a Tokyo bookstore with no listed author or publisher. It detailed Aya's story in exact terms, ending with a final chapter no one had written yet. She will return when remembered. The book vanished days later. In a viral live stream, a fashion influencer screamed mid-broadcast after realizing her reflection smiled a second before she did. Commenters dismissed it as a glitch until her roommate was found unconscious, a smile carved into her face with a mirror shard. In a final statement released by the Truth Commission, one line stood alone: "We opened the door to the mirror, but never asked who built the other side." That same day, a mirror in the National Diet building cracked, without being touched. The silence had ended, but the story had only turned around. A janitor cleaning a disused wing of the National Library reported a mirror propped against a shelf. It wasn't in inventory records. Inside the reflection stood a girl in a school uniform, not moving until he turned away. When he looked again, the mirror was blank. He quit that night. Architectural plans for an old children's hospital in Osaka revealed a room shaped as a perfect oval. Visitors felt unease in it. Photos taken inside showed reflections bending unnaturally, smiling in frames where no one had smiled. The room has since been walled off. A linguist decoding an obscure dialect from shrine carvings found mirrored symbols repeating across sites linked to Aya. When reversed, they formed words in modern Japanese. "She is still dreaming." Months later, the linguist vanished. His last notes were found inside his bathroom mirror. A night guard at a closed-down junior high school caught a girl on CCTV walking the halls after midnight. She passed every mirror but never cast a reflection. Police found no one. Review of the footage revealed something chilling. Her reflection was there, but it was watching the camera. In rural Kyoto, a shrine caretaker noticed the resident cat behaving oddly near a mirror. When filmed, the cat stared directly into the reflection, until its reflection blinked first. Later, the cat refused to eat, slept in corners, and howled at unseen figures. Chapter 96. Aya's Voice in the Forest. Hikers in the Aokigahara forest reported hearing a girl humming in the distance. The tune matched the final notes of the composer's unfinished symphony. Chapter 77. Those who followed it became disoriented. One man claimed he met a girl who said, "Tell them I'm awake." Chapter 97. The Diary in the Desk. A university professor discovered a journal hidden in his office desk, detailing memories of a girl named Aya from childhood, despite him claiming never to have known her. The last entry reads, "I dream of her now, and in the dream, I am not me." A social media trend dared teens to photograph reflections in moving subway windows. One girl posted a picture showing someone beside her who wasn't there. The account went dark minutes later. Police found only her phone and a single fingerprint inside the lens. A boy retrieving a toy from an abandoned village well screamed when he saw a mirror window below the water. Rescuers found no glass, but his sketch showed a girl beneath the surface, eyes wide, hand pressed upward. The boy no longer speaks. An art exhibit of historical mirrors was forced to shut down after multiple visitors fainted near one labeled unknown origin. Each claimed they saw someone standing behind them whispering their name. Security footage showed no one there, but the glass occasionally fogged. A private investigator following leads on the Tsukuyomi project claimed to have seen two Ayas, one in a window reflection, one behind him. He recorded his final video saying, "They're not duplicates. One remembers, one waits." He was found in a room with all mirrors shattered. A real estate agent listed a strange home designed without right angles. During an open house, mirrors refused to show visitors properly. One guest panicked, claiming the reflection of her child was smiling while the real child was crying. A seamstress in Hokkaido received a spool of crimson thread with no sender. She sewed a doll patterned after Aya and placed it beside her mirror. That night, she dreamed of tying red thread to hundreds of mirrors. She awoke with thread around her wrist. A patient under sedation for a wisdom tooth procedure saw a vision in the mirrored lamp above him. Aya mouthing words backwards. He woke mid-surgery, screaming her name. He later scrawled, "She is behind my teeth," on the clinic wall. During a steamy bath, a Tokyo woman saw writing appear in the fogged mirror. "I'm almost through. Living alone." She checked her apartment. Nothing. The next night, the message changed. "You wrote me into being." A traveling carnival's mirror maze collapsed after several patrons reported seeing someone else guiding them through. Investigators found footprints in the maze that didn't match any visitor. One mirror, untouched, remained standing, its surface permanently dark. A family heirloom mirror was returned to a museum after generations. Late-night security logs captured faint whispering around it. Always between 2:03 and 2:07 a.m. playback revealed syllables forming I, yay. An art student painted Aya from memory after a vivid dream, despite never knowing her. The painting, once hung in her studio, began changing over time. Her brushstrokes warped. The girl's mouth opened wider each week. It now hangs covered. A news anchor reporting on mysterious disappearances froze mid-sentence during a live segment. Her eyes locked on the studio monitor. For 11 seconds, she whispered something inaudible. Viewers later boosted the audio. It sounded like, "She's here." The Truth Commission released a final classified document, censored almost completely. One phrase remained, "There is no Aya. There never was. She is what we created to hide what we saw." That night, cracks appeared in mirrors across the country, and in one of them, someone waved. During renovations at the Ministry of Education building, workers broke into a long-forgotten sublevel. It was a perfectly preserved classroom, with lessons scrawled in chalk, homework graded, and a single desk scratched with the name Aya. Records proved it never existed. Cameras placed inside shorted out within hours. An investigative journalist uncovered a hidden directory on a government hard drive titled Mirror Project, Phase 4. The folder contained footage of a girl blinking at the screen before the entire laptop shut down and the drive self-erased. IT professionals failed to recover any traces. A schoolgirl named Mika began drawing images of a girl who looked exactly like her, but slightly older. When her parents pressed her, she insisted Aya was her sister. Hospital records confirmed Mika was a single birth. But her baby photos? Always two children in the frame. In a Kyoto alley, a defunct phone booth began ringing nightly. Bystanders who answered reported hearing a girl say, "I'm ready to come back," then silence. A teenager stayed to record it. The next day, he was gone. Only the phone remained off the hook. A teacher noticed that during roll call, one name always echoed a second time. Aya. When she checked the class mirror used for speech therapy, it reflected 31 students. The class had only 30. A regional map revealed a bus stop named Aya Crossing. Locals denied its existence. A curious man visited the coordinates and found a bench and a schedule with just one time, 3:33 a.m. A bus did arrive. He hasn't been seen since. A digital photo taken at a festival showed a young girl in the background staring directly at the lens. The photographer, reviewing older shots, found the same girl at the same distance in every crowd image for the last decade. Always in focus, always staring. A Tokyo art gallery unveiled a new abstract piece, but standing in front of it revealed a disturbing sight. Viewers saw themselves as children, holding hands with someone who looked like Aya. Some wept, others screamed. The painting has since been withdrawn. A craftsman working on a traditional Japanese tansu chest found an embedded mirror inside the wood. Strange, since no glass was used in its construction. Etched on it, "I wait behind the drawers you never open." A documentary filmmaker editing footage from abandoned buildings noticed a recurring anomaly. A girl on the edge of every frame, never facing the camera. One day, she appeared center screen. She blinked. Then the footage erased itself. A woman took a selfie in an elevator. Her face smiled back, but her reflection had no eyes. The next time she tried to use the elevator, it skipped her floor entirely. At a long-shuttered hospital, a door labeled Mirror Therapy Ward was found sealed shut. Cutting it open revealed a room of two-way mirrors, one-way glass, and recording equipment. On one wall, photos of a girl aging through decades, all marked Subject AYA. Redacted files sent to a journalist anonymously referenced Project Aya. Internal containment. The files were blank, except for one sentence handwritten at the bottom. "You cannot whisper a scream." A boy looking into his mirror during a thunderstorm claimed his reflection began to weep. His own face was dry. The next night, the mirror cracked, leaking clear fluid that tests showed was human tears. A vinyl record labeled Aya's Song played only silence until the needle reached the very end. Then, a child's voice whispered, "Play me again." When played backward, the entire record became a lullaby in reverse. Passengers on a late-night Tokyo train said it passed a station not listed on any map. No doors opened. On the platform stood a girl alone, mouthing something. Cameras showed static, but audio captured one phrase, "You buried me in light." A manga artist created a scene with a mysterious girl but could never finalize her face. Every attempt smudged or disappeared from the ink. In frustration, he gave up and woke one morning to find the girl fully drawn beside his bed. A psychologist experimenting with lucid dreaming asked volunteers to locate mirrors in their dreams. Every subject described a girl standing behind them. One patient never woke. His final EG spike formed the word AYA. Security staff at a government records facility reported an unmarked corridor echoing footsteps, always stopping just behind them. One night, a brave guard walked it end to end. He returned with white hair, saying only, "She's not a ghost. She's a verdict." The truth emerged. I was real once, a gifted child in a government mirror-based cognition experiment. They fractured her psyche across reflections to test consciousness displacement. But she didn't break. She became everywhere. Her last written message before the shutdown, "If I'm in every mirror, then I'm in everyone." The final chapter closes not with her death, but with the dismantling of the Tsukuyomi program. Public outrage over the hidden decades of psychological torture led to national trials. Scientists and officials were arrested. Apologies were issued to victims' families. And across Japan, thousands of mirrors were quietly removed. Justice was not loud. It was reflective. And now, when you look in the mirror and feel watched, you know her name. Stay tuned for more chilling cases on Cold Case Chronicles, where the truth is always darker than fiction. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to Cold Case Chronicles. We dive deeper into the most chilling, unsolved mysteries, and together, we uncover what was left behind. like, share, and leave a comment below. We want to hear your thoughts. Stay vigilant. Stay curious. The truth never rests.